Ancient Rome, a civilization built on conquest, engineering, and a revolutionary idea: standardized money. For 2 centuries, the Pax Romana, the Roman peace, was underwritten by the silver denarius. This coin was the gold standard of its time, typically holding about 4.5 grams of 95% pure silver. It fostered trade across 3 continents, making the Roman economy the most sophisticated the world had yet seen. But this golden age came with an unsustainable cost. The Roman military machine was immense: 30 legions, hundreds of thousands of men who demanded high wages and generous retirement bonuses. Add to this the construction of epic monuments, aqueducts, and the enormous cost of grain doles to feed the capital's population. Where did the vast sums come from? Initially, it came from conquest, spoils of war, captured gold, and the taxes of newly conquered provinces flooded the treasury. But by the reign of Emperor Trajan in the early 2nd century, the era of massive expansion was over. The flow of easy money stopped. Yet, the empire's expenditures only grew. The solution, first adopted by Emperor Nero in 64 AD, was insidious and simple: debasement. It's the moment when the integrity of Rome's financial system truly began to rot. Every time Nero minted a new batch of denarii, he secretly reduced the silver content, replacing it with cheaper copper. The government could now pay the same number of soldiers with less actual silver. It was a tax on the people that few understood. The problem wasn't the initial debasement, it was the addiction. Every succeeding emperor, facing ever-increasing pressure to fund the military, found it easier to dilute the currency than to levy unpopular taxes. By the time Marcus Aurelius was fighting the northern tribes, the denarius was down to 75% silver. His son Commodus dropped it further. But the true collapse began with the crisis of the 3rd century, 235 to 284 AD. This was a 50-year period of political chaos where over 50 different emperors and usurpers violently claimed the throne. Each new soldier emperor, like Maximinus Thrax or Aurelian, needed instant funds to buy the loyalty of the army and pay the huge accession bonus required to secure their position. The quickest source of cash? Debase the money. Fast. By the reign of Gallienus in the 260s AD, the denarius was effectively finished. The new coin, the Antoninianus, often contained less than 5% silver. It was a bronze or copper core with a thin silver-colored wash. The wash quickly rubbed off, revealing the worthless metal underneath. People instantly understood they were being paid in worthless tokens. This was the moment trust, the real foundation of any currency, died. The economic law is inescapable. Flood the market with worthless money, and its purchasing power collapses. The result was hyperinflation. Imagine needing 100 coins today to buy what one coin bought last month. For the Roman state, this meant that the tax revenue collected in the provinces was nearly worthless by the time it reached Rome. For the ordinary Roman, it was catastrophic. The price of wheat, a staple of life, skyrocketed by thousands of percent within a single generation. This destroyed the magnificent Roman trade network. Merchants refused to accept the debased currency, preferring to trade in goods. The entire economy reverted to the primitive system of bartering. Why sell a valuable product for money that will be worthless tomorrow? Long-distance shipping of goods like olive oil, wine, and pottery became too risky and complex. Cities, the engines of the empire fueled by trade and cash, began to starve. Wealthy landowners, seeing their cash wealth evaporate, abandoned the risky city life and retreated to their large country estates, latifundia. They became self-sufficient, producing their own food and clothing, and using their tenants, future serfs, to pay them in goods, wheat, oil, services, instead of useless coins. This localization of the economy was the final blow to the centralized imperial system. By 284 AD, the empire was a shell. Emperor Diocletian took power and realized the state could not survive without monetary reform. His first, most famous, and most disastrous move was the Edict on maximum prices in 301 AD. Diocletian didn't try to fix the money, he tried to fix the prices. He issued a massive list, attempting to cap the price of over 1,000 goods and services, from a pound of pork to the wages of a school teacher. He even made the violation of the edict a capital offense, punishable by death. But economic laws are more powerful than imperial decrees. The edict failed spectacularly. Producers simply stopped bringing goods to market, refusing to sell at fixed, unprofitable prices. The black market exploded, and the shortages became far worse than the high prices had ever been. The edict was eventually ignored and quietly abandoned. Diocletian's successor, Constantine the Great, learned the lesson. He didn't try to save the broken silver-bronze system. Instead, he stabilized the entire monetary policy around a completely new coin, the gold solidus. It was 4.5 grams of nearly pure gold, bypassing the worthless lower-value coinage entirely. This coin would remain the stable currency of the Eastern Empire, Byzantium, for the next 1,000 years. But for the West, it was too late. The underlying economic and social damage was permanent. The economic crisis of the 3rd century created the conditions for the final political collapse of the Western Roman Empire in 476 AD. When the final barbarian invasions came, the Visigoths, the Vandals, they weren't conquering a healthy, vibrant state. They were picking at the corpse of a society already drained of its vitality. The empire's economic collapse forced it to become a localized, decentralized agrarian system. Without a stable, unified currency, the government could no longer reliably fund the massive, centralized bureaucracy, and the army needed to patrol its vast frontiers. Trust in the government, in the currency, and in the future had vanished. The ultimate lesson of the Roman currency crisis is this: the real value of money is trust. It is the collective belief that the coin you hold will buy something tomorrow. When the Roman emperors began to lie about the value of their money, they broke that trust, and the economic engine of their empire seized up forever. From the runaway inflation of Weimar Germany in the 1920s to the currency crises in Zimbabwe and Venezuela today, the blueprint is always the same. Greed leads to debasement. Debasement leads to hyperinflation, and hyperinflation destroys the social and economic order. Rome's financial suicide is not just history. It is a permanent, chilling warning about the fatal flaw hidden within the creation of money itself. What is the next great currency to fail? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Drop a like and subscribe.